What's good, everybody? I'm rocking my newest stunner shades. I bought these in Atlanta. Got that same name, Quay, on them. See, Quay. $90. $90, you buy one, you got one free. So, yeah. I got these too. Stunting. I'm stunting on them. Oh, this is gonna be a fabulous show. I said this is going to be a fabulous show. I didn't mean to do this particular show. I had something else lined up talking about the Jerusalem church. But goddamn, I got some juicy stuff here. So first, let me introduce myself. I am Professor Khalil Amani. And this is Khalil Amani's World 100. Part 5. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. My goodness. My God. My goodness. I am so proud of Israel's struggle doctrine. I'm so proud of him. Today's video that he did this morning, it has got to be the best video I think he's ever done. Why do I say that? Because he did a 30-minute video, and I gotta tell you, I agree with 98% of the video. I mean, Israel's Struggle Doctrine did a video today that just bodied him. It just annihilated him. And I know that most of you who are watching this back and forth, if you're paying attention between my teachings and his teachings, I know you're scratching your heads and you're going like this and you're going, why is Israel Doctrine confirming what Khalil Amani is teaching? We're going to go over his video. I said Israel's Struggle Doctrine absolutely bodies himself in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes. We're going to get through it. I'm so excited to do this video. I had not planned to do this reaction video, but when somebody comes on and they don't even understand the information that they are bringing, my God, I invite you all to go over and listen to Israel's Struggle Doctrine's video in light of this video. I mean, never has a man bodied himself so much with his own information. I couldn't have said some of that shit as good as he said it. He absolutely confirms everything I've been teaching. Even his scholars, we're going to talk about them too. I'm happy and I'm proud of the brother. It's the first time that I can remember that Israel Doctrine actually cited real scholars, real PhDs. Now, granted, he didn't tell us nothing about these scholars. Nothing about them. He didn't tell us nothing about E.P. Sanders and N.T. Wright. But I'll be telling you all about them. Oh, he's a sneaky fellow. But I am proud of Israel's Struggle Doctrine that he finally interjected scholars. Now, they are Christian apologist scholars, but nonetheless, both of these scholars he quotes, they are actual mainstream PhDs. I'm so proud of Pizzy Piz. I'm so proud of him. So Israel struggle doctrine, this is what it's about. I think you finally got the message, my brother. I'm proud of you. I know you still had your little ad hominems here and there about me, your little name calling. I was okay. But I am proud that you sourced up instead of shutting the fuck up, as the conscious community would say. You actually sourced up. I mean, I'm just super, I was smiling like a Cheshire cat when I saw Israel struggle doctrine citing sources. Matter of fact, he cited 2 scholars that I personally was not familiar with. I wasn't familiar with them. But you know me, I'm going to go check. I'm going to go check out who these people are and see what they really talking about. That's what I do. I haven't read every Christian scholar, but I read the main ones, you know, the Paul Tillocks, the Boltmans, the Barths, the Kants. Those are the real goody goodies. Bonhoeffers, James Cone, Gustavo Gutierrez. There's so many I've read. There's so many I've read. Susan Haskins. I read a lot of them, but the ones that he presented, I was unfamiliar with. But I am familiar with them now. And they both of the scholars he mentions, they have Wikipedia pages. And they are PhDs, bona fide academic scholars. I am so proud of Israel's struggle doctrine. Because in times past, he tries to convince us of Paul with Paul. That's not how you do scholarship. You got to find outside sources, as I said earlier. Something that his queen over there, Miss Troutmouth, she knows nothing about. I'm just super elated. I can't tell you all how much I am so proud of Israel's struggle doctrine for finally going and getting 2 scholars. Now, in future presentations, my brother, you got to go a little further and you got to give at least a little background about the scholar you're quoting. You got to say, his name is E.P. Sanders, and he wrote these books, and he went to this college, and his PhD is in this. His name is N.T. Wright, and he wrote these books, and he teaches at this college, and he's a professor. Give us a little bit more. Don't make me have to go to Wikipedia and Google these people, but I did. But I'm still happy that you're taking baby steps in the right way to becoming a real student of scholarship. So kudos to you, my brother. Your video today was 95% accurate. It was accurate. I know you can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm saying it. Let's check my messages. I'm waiting for a very important phone call or a very important message. Let me see. Not yet. That's not enough. Okay. All right. Well, these shades are dark. But I'm going to keep them on for a little bit. I may have to change them because they are super dark. Yes, I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Let me take them off now because I want to get right into it. Let me put on these shades. These I can still. There you go. Yeah, these here. When I look at the computer, it's dark. It's black. I can't see nothing. So I wear these somewhere else. Let's go back. I'm still stunting on them. All right, let's turn the music off so we can get right into it. First, let me start out. We're gonna go back and we're going to dissect and deconstruct and react to Israel Doctrine's 30-minute presentation on this Tuesday. I mean, what a Jim Dandy. I mean, this guy is Khalil Amani's student. So let me start out by addressing something he said very early on the 1 minute and 25 mark. He brought up his reader, Hananiah. And he said that Hananiah couldn't be with him today because he's working and he's a family man. Let's start with that. That rubbed me the wrong way. That's why I want to talk about it. That rubbed me the wrong way. Let's go to the 1 minute. Turn our sound up. We're going to deconstruct this video and have some fun today. We're going to have some fun today. So here is Israel Doctrine this morning informing us that Hananiah is not with us today to read.
Deal with this now. So I don't have my reader with me today because he's a working man and he got a family. So I'm not a man that's going to stop a man from pursuing that by pursuing what I want to pursue. So I'm going to take this today with just me.
All right. Did you hear what he said? Go back. That little talking about Hananiah, it just rubbed me the wrong way. Let's just listen to what he says about Hananiah not being there, and he's a working man, family, and he's not the kind of man that will stop a man from doing what he has to do.
I have my reader with me today because he's a working man and he got a family. So I'm not a man that's going to stop a man from pursuing that by pursuing what I want to pursue. So
see, it's shitty conversations and shitty commentary like that just fucks this dude up. He really thinks, I mean, by extrapolation, what can be deduced from that little piece is that he thinks that he's the kind of man that can actually stop a man from going to work, taking care of his family, his wife and children, and making that man do what he wants him to do, come over and read. Why would Struggle Doctrine say that about his reader? I'm not the kind of man that'll stop a man. What man do you know? What man do you know that will stop a man from going to work to feed his family to go and be with him? I mean, it was an ignorant statement off the bat. I said I agreed with 95% of the video we are going to talk about, but this is part of the 5% bullshit that I don't agree with. Why would you say you're not the kind of man that would stop a man? Like, do you think you have the power to stop Hananiah from going to a 9-to-5 and providing food, clothing, and shelter for his wife and children? Do you think what you are talking about on YouTube is greater than Hananiah going to work? Listen to your statement, my nigga. This is why I stay on your ass like flies on shit. Because in your little small Parkin, Arkansas world, you think that what you are talking about is more important than a man providing for his family. So you come on and make an asinine, a silly statement that you are not the kind of man that will stop a man from providing for his family. What kind of stupid shit is... What man would even say some shit like that? Only a man that's narcissistic and egotistical and who thinks that what he's doing in life supersedes and is more important than a man taking care of his wife and children and going to fucking work. I just wanted to touch on that. You came out the gate wrong as fuck. You never comment on a man and what a man got going on in his own personal life. All you had to say is, Hananiah is working today, he can't be with us. All you had to say was, Hananiah is working and he can't read for me today. But you think you are so important that you have to give all this extra commentary on what kind of man you are, and you're not the kind of man that'll stop another man. You think you have that kind of power. That's why you said it. You think you can actually stop a man from feeding his family. That was uncalled for, and I just want to point that out. That's the first point. Oh, I got a lot of stuff to talk about. But off the rip out the gate, the nigga said some stupid shit. I'm not the kind of man that'll stop a man, nigga. If I was Hananiah and I heard you say that about me, I would put you in file 13. What do you mean you can't? You're not the kind of man. Are you saying that there are men that would stop other men from taking care of their family to go and be and do what another man wants? Is that what you are implying? Of course that's what you're implying. You are implying that there are men who believe that what they got going on in life is more important than what other men have going on in life. Yes?
I just want to know, is it okay if I take $200
Yes.
out of our savings?
Yes.
I was going to, pardon Nicole's Christmas present from us to buy her ticket to come here.
Sounds great.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right. What kind of man even thinks that he has the power to make another man not go to work, not take care of his wife, not take care of his children, but to leave his family and go and read and go and do what another man wants? That's the implication. I just wanted to touch on that. Man, all you have to say is Hananiah is working today. He can't read. You ain't got to try to make yourself look like you are, good, a great man. You have the kind of understanding about what a man has to do. You ain't got to do that. Working comes first. Working comes first. I said working comes first. That's point one. All right, let's move on. That's that's part of the 5% of bullshit that you said. I'm not the kind of man that is, let me say it one more time. It just rubbed me the wrong way that you got people that think like this. Like you think you got power.
I have my reader with me today because he's a working man.
That's all you had to say. I don't have my reader with me because he's working today. But he says he's a working man, and then he wants to go on to explain what kind of man he is.
And he got a family, so.
And he got a family. That doesn't need to be said. As a matter of fact, he didn't have to say anything. He could have said, Hananiah is busy today. He could have not even mentioned it, just started reading. But he brought up Hananiah and what Hananiah got going on.
I'm not a man that's going to stop a man from pursuing that by pursuing what I want to pursue. So,
you know what he's saying? You know what he's really saying? He's really saying, I wish I could stop Hananiah from pursuing his manly, fatherly, husbandly duties to come and do what I want. He's really saying it indirectly. Because no man has to say, I'm not the kind of man that will stop another man from doing what he need to do. Indirectly, what he's really saying is, I wish I could. I wish I could snatch Hananiah's ass from his family and make him read and do what I want him to do. That's the reverse. I just want to point that out. It just rubbed me wrong like a gnat. All right. Let's move on. Other than that, I say that Israel Struggle Doctrine did one of the best, greatest videos that actually bolsters everything I've been saying. And I'm going to show it to you. We're going to walk through this. We're going to walk through this. Let me get I got notes. Let me mark them off as I go. Okay, that's out of here. Mark them off as I go. Let's start with what I've been saying. What I've been saying is that they were called the way, that the term Christian, it doesn't come in until Romans the 11th chapter, 400 miles away in Antioch, Turkey. They come up with the word Christian. And that's, 2 decades later. I've been saying that the people were called the way, not Christians. I said the people, the Jesus followers that followed Jesus personally, they were called the way, not Christians. I've been saying that. Now let me talk about the way for a minute before I let you hear it. Old Israel Struggle Doctrine he started reading the Bible in 1996. 1996 to 2006 is 10 years. 2006 to 2016 is 20 years. 24, almost 30 years. Israel Doctrine has been studying and reading the Bible for almost 30 years. And Israel Struggle Doctrine has never heard the phrase, the way. It's new to him. Trust me and believe me. He's never dealt with the phrase, the way. He never knew that the Jerusalem church, the first followers of Jesus, was called the way. It's new conversation to him. I'm teaching this nigga. I'm teaching him. In 30 years of Israel Doctrine cracking the Bible open, he's never known that the first disciples of Jesus were called the way. This is all new to him. And see, right now, I got him on his back foot. I got him on the good foot. I got him doing the Michael Jackson moonwalk. I got this nigga backing up. So much so that today he does a video that just compliments everything I've been saying. I can actually end this series on his video. On his video. My goodness. My goodness. I said in Israel Doctrine's nearly 30 years of cracking open the Bible, he's never had a discussion about the way. He's never heard the term or the phraseology, the way. This shit, the way, was as foreign to him as pussy is to him. I said Israel Struggle Doctrine, he ain't had sex in well over 24, 25 years. That's how foreign this ideal of the way is to him. I introduced a new phrase to this nigga that he will not give me recognition for, but it's evident and it is abundantly clear that Israel Struggle Doctrine has never heard of the way. This is why he's hell-bent on the term Christian. Now think about it, people. As long as we have been watching Israel Struggle Doctrine, have you ever heard him do a video series, a video mention in passing the way? And the answer is no. The two words, the way, has never come from Israel Doctrine's lips. It's new. It's absolutely new. Damn near 30 years of reading the Bible since 1996. And the bitch nigga didn't know that the original followers of Jesus were known as the way. Isn't that mad crazy? I mean, this guy, Israel Doctrine, he does a video today that bodies. I've been saying that Christianity and the name Christian, it came later. It came later. It was a later development. Let's start right there. Let's go to the 5 minute and 30 mark and watch him say exactly what I've been saying. I said Christianity and the word Christian, those were later terms dealing with the Jesus folks. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Earlier followers of Jesus, the disciples, which was Jews, and was following Judaism in a sense of the word, because Christianity hadn't arrived on the scene yet.
Bam! This nigga is co-signing everything I'm talking about. I am Mr. Incredible.
And everything. The Jews was calling them the way.
Oh my goodness. The Jews were calling them the way. Before last week, this nigga didn't know that. 2 weeks ago, this guy, Struggle Doctrine, had never heard of the phrase, the way. And now today he says that the Jews were calling the Jesus people the way. Who said that? Who's been saying that? Who's been saying that? I agree. I agree. I agree. See how you see how he's bodying himself? I agree with that. The Jews were calling themselves the way, not Christians.
I don't disagree with that.
You can't disagree with it. Now that you have seen the scholarship, you can't disagree with it.
Scholarly stuff.
Yeah, scholarly stuff. Yeah. And going beyond it being scholarly stuff, if you just read Acts, it's in there 6 times, the way. You don't have to be a scholar to look at the phrase, the way. Where is it at? You don't have to be a scholar. All you got to look up Acts 9 and 2, Acts 19 and 9, Acts 19:24, Acts 19:23, Acts 22 and 4, Acts 24 and 22, John 14:6. You don't have to have a PhD to understand that the first disciples were called the way. It's not scholarly stuff. It's in the Bible.
And I respect the scholars in that perspective, but I don't respect scholars.
This nigga is double-tongued as a serpent. I respect the scholars in that way, but I don't respect scholars. This is why I won't debate you. If you don't have respect for scholarship, if you don't have a scholastic, moral, and scholastic and academic authority, then what do you have? You have nothing. You have absolutely nothing. So this nigga says, I respect them, but I don't respect them. I respect scholars, but I don't respect scholars. Look at the nigga. Christianity developed later. Let's go up here to, I'm jumping around, the 27 mark. Listen as he talks about how Christianity developed later, after the way.
Historical distortion. Conclusion: historically speaking, the way precedes Christianity and represents a Jewish covenant rooted.
You see? This is his reading. He says, the way precedes Christianity. That means that the way came before the Christians. Back it up just a little bit.
Equals institution failure to distinguish the two leads to historical distortion. Conclusion: historically speaking, the way precedes Christianity and represents a Jewish covenant-rooted, Messiah-centered movement. Christianity, as a distinct religion, emerged later through complex social, political, and theological developments.
You see how he's bodying himself? You see how he's bodying himself? This is what I've been teaching. Christianity is a later invention. Christianity is born and wrought out of the way movement, which is the Jerusalem church. He's bodying himself. 29:25. My goodness. I can't believe that he's doing a video that I absolutely agree with. This is crazy. 29:25. Here we go again. Let's walk into it.
I know what's going on.
Conclusion: historically speaking, the way precedes Christianity and represents a Jewish, covenant-rooted, Messiah-centered movement. Christianity, as a distinct religion, emerged later through complex social, political, and theological developments.
Woo.
Understanding this distinction restores the Jewish context of...
See? I agree. I agree. Israel Doctrine. If you're trying to get at Khalil Amani, that wasn't it, my nigga. You just agreed through your own writings that Christianity is a later development. That Christianity and the Christian is an afterthought of the way. You just agreed that it was all about the way and Christianity would develop later after the Jesus movement, the way. My goodness. My goodness. Another time you said something very similar. Going back to the 3-minute mark. I love what you're doing. I want you to keep on doing it. 3 minutes. Stop right there. Here we go again.
Right here.
1. The first century church, a Jewish ecclesia, not a later Gentile institution. The earliest Jesus-following communities, Greek small letter epsilon with Silly, Greek small letter kappa, Greek small letter kappa, Greek small letter lambda, Greek small letter eta, Greek small letter sigma, Greek small letter iota with tonos, Greek small letter alpha, ecclesia, emerged within Judaism, not outside of it. Acts, the Synoptic Gospels, and Paul's undisputed letters consistently show that.
Hold on. I didn't get it. I think I missed it.
Has no methodological integrity. I have methodological integrity.
Blah, blah, blah,
And I'm
blah.
gonna show it
Blah, blah,
right
blah.
here.
Blah, blah, blah.
1. The first century church, a Jewish ecclesia, not a later Gentile institution. The earliest Jesus-following communities, Greek small letter epsilon.
Okay, so that's saying the same thing. That the first century church was not Christian in its beginning, it was the way. Let's get that out of here. Let's get that out of here. Let's go to, I got so much I want to cover. Let's go to the 18-minute mark. 18-minute mark. I mean, I can't believe that he's actually did this video. That's such a cosign of everything I've been saying.
Ignorant of the way.
They did not call themselves Christians at first. The term Christian appears later. Acts 11:26. It was likely...
Ain't that what I've been saying? This is his writings. Ain't that what I've been saying? That they weren't called Christians first. They were called Christians later in Antioch, as the Bible says. Back that up. Let's let that play out. Talk about a nigga who is absolutely shooting himself in the foot. This is what I've been teaching. That the first Christians were not called Christians. Or the first Jesus followers were not called Christians. This is what he says. Let me find out where we at. Oh, we at the wrong spot. 18:21. Let's go.
Because they was making fun of the way. They was ignorant of the way.
like you are.
They did not call themselves Christians at first. The term Christian appears later, Acts 11:26. It was likely a label given by outsiders in Antioch. Early believers primarily saw themselves as Israelites, Messianic Jews, followers of the Way. Who used the term? Believers themselves. Acts 24:14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the gods of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. Jewish authorities, Acts 9:2, and desired of him.
Oh, look, that, this verse right here.
Okay. Is that not what I've been teaching? Why is he playing this stuff? He's absolutely co-signing what I've been teaching y'all. Those of you who've been following the back and forth between me and Israel's struggle doctrine, I know you are bewildered. Why is Israel's struggle doctrine parroting and aping and regurgitating and upchucking and vomiting Khalil Amani's conversation? That's what Khalil said. I agree. Let's get that out of here. We got that out of here. All right. Let's go talk about the way for a moment. Again, people, until I introduced the conversation known as the way, until I introduced it, this guy, Israel's struggle doctrine, had never heard of the terminology or the phraseology, the way. He never heard of it. This is all new jack shit to this nigga here. Oh, yes, it is. Don't you let him think he's been aware of the way. Because if Israel's struggle doctrine was fully and truly aware of the phraseology and the terminology, the way, he would have never been talking that Christian bullshit in Romans chapter 11. He would have never did it. He would have said like I've been saying. That name, Christian, that's some shit that the Romans, the pagans, and the heathens invented and called Paul's followers, not the people in Jerusalem. Oh no. The Jerusalem church would have never accepted being called the name of an outsider, especially a pagan, heathen, outside culture. Naming them? Hell to the no, no. And so let's listen to this conversation. What you are about to hear now is Israel's struggle doctrine absolutely co-signing everything I've said about the term the way. That the first followers of Jesus were known as the way in Jerusalem, in Judea, in Samaria, in Damascus. Everybody knew who the way was. The word Christian had not even come on the scene yet. Let's listen to this conversation. I mean, talk about a student co-signing his teacher. This is wild. I woke up, I couldn't believe what he was saying, that he was co-signing my shit. Let's go.
Scams on y'all. I'm not polite.
Who called Jesus' disciples the way? 1. Luke, the author of Acts, records the name, the book of Acts, our earliest historical account of the Jesus' movement after the resurrection, explicitly states that Jesus' followers were called the way, Yehodos in Greek. Key passages, Acts 9:2. Saul sought letters, so that if he found any who belonged to the way, men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. Acts 19:9. Some spoke evil of the way before the congregation. Acts 19:23. About that time there arose no little disturbance concerning the way. Acts 22:4. Paul says, I persecuted this way to the death. Acts 24:14. Paul confesses, according to the way, which they call a sect, I worship the God of our fathers. Conclusion. The name was already in common use before Paul's conversion, meaning it originated within the earliest Jesus movement, not later Christian.
not later
God damn.
a Christian, but
You see? See how he bodies himself? I agree 1,000%. The nigga is regurgitating what I have already taught about the way. I just think the nigga doesn't comprehend my videos. He's absolutely co-signing what I have already taught you all about the early church first being called the way and not Christians. That deserves a second goddamn hearing. Listen, people. This is incredible. This is absolutely mind-boggling that he comes on camera today and says everything that I've been teaching you, that the phrase and the term the way, it precedes the term Christian, and that the early followers in Jerusalem were called the way. They were not called Christians. And now, damn near 30 years that Israel Struggle Doctrine has been reading the Bible, he's just now finding out that the earliest Christians or the earliest Jesus believers weren't called Christians. They were called the way. Let's let him say it again. This is beautiful stuff.
scams on y'all. I'm not polite.
Who called Jesus' disciples the way? 1. Luke, the author of Acts, records the name, the book of Acts, our earliest historical account of the Jesus' movement after the resurrection, explicitly states that Jesus' followers were called the way, Yehodos in Greek. Key passages, Acts 9:2 Saul sought letters, so that if he found any who belonged to the way, men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. Acts 19:9 Some spoke evil of the way before the congregation. Acts 19:23 About that time there arose no little disturbance concerning the way. Acts 22:4 Paul says, I persecuted this way to the death. Acts 24:14 Paul confesses, according to the way, which they call a sect, I worship the God of our fathers. Conclusion, the name was already in common use before Paul's conversion, meaning it originated within the earliest Jesus movement, not later Christian.
Not later Christian, but
Oh, what? My goodness. My goodness. How do you body yourself trying to body me? All of that I agree with. All of that is true. All of that I have taught. So how are you bodying me? Let's go on further talking about the way. Oh, it's more. Oh, there's more. There's more. 1650, right about there. There's more. There's more I agree with as he bodies himself by teaching what I've already taught.
in the scriptures, please.
Why were they called the way? 1. Because Jesus has called himself the way. The title comes directly from Jesus' own words. John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. His disciples understood their faith.
Did I teach that? Did I teach that? Of course I did. Did I show you John 14:6? Of course I did. On several. The last one. On several parts I've shown you that. Look at him parroting. Look at him regurgitating my information. Look at him agreeing with my information that they were called the way based on Jesus calling himself the way. Did I tell you that? If you don't know that I brought John 14:6 up in a previous episode, go back and watch it. He's actually co-signing me.
Not as a new religion, but as a way of life and covenantal path. 2. Rooted in Hebrew scripture, the way is deeply biblical and Jewish, not Greek or Roman.
See, all of this is new. Struggle Doctrine had never heard about the way until just to me. I'm his fucking teacher. He didn't know nothing about this. He ain't never taught about the way.
Examples, Isaiah 43, prepare the way of the Lord. Psalm.
Okay, let's go on. Got that one down. More on the way. Listen to this. Listen how he just absolutely agrees with me.
Shall come down, I will know the uttermost of your matter. Paul, both before and after conversion, this shows the way was a recognized, established name for the movement.
Did you hear that? Paul, before he joined the movement of Christianity, the way was a recognized name of the movement. That's what I've been teaching. How is he shitting on me? He's shitting on himself. What you are hearing is comparable to Israel Doctrine on that nasty mattress on the floor, taking a pee on the mattress because he can't get up in the middle of the night because he's having a stroke. He had a stroke. So he has to just take his weenie out and point it to the wooden floor and try to point the pee so it don't hit the mattress and let it go on the floor. And then get up later on and get the mop and bucket in the bleach and Clorox and wipe up the pissy mess that he made that night. That's what he's doing to himself. He's absolutely laying on that mattress, taking a pee-pee. That's all he's doing.
So, he gonna find some way not to agree with that.
No, see, that's why you don't understand. I do agree. That's what I'm telling you. See, he doesn't understand the argument. He now says that I am going to find a way to disagree. I'm agreeing with everything that he's reading out here because this is what I've been teaching. Goddamn. Let's go back to 21 and let's start that over.
Know the uttermost of your matter. Paul, both before and after conversion, this shows the way was a recognized, established name for the movement.
So, he gonna find some way not to agree with that.
If I disagree with that, I am disagreeing with what I've been teaching. What a stupid ignoramus this guy is. He's stupid and he's ignorant because he doesn't understand the arguments that he's making, that he's actually reading. Or else he's not reading, or else he's not listening to my videos. I don't know what's he doing. This is what I've been teaching. And those of you who've been following, you know I've been teaching that the way came before Christianity and Christian. He's only echoing what I'm saying.
Even though he the one that first used the conversation.
Yeah, see, I agree. Oh, he admits it. He admits that I'm the first to use the conversation about the way, which means what I just said a few minutes ago, this nigga been reading the Bible for damn near 30 years and never saw the phraseology and terminology the way. He thinks the way is some scholarly academic device. No, nigga, read your book. Read the book of Acts and the book of John, and you will see the common phrase, the way, or this way, come up over and over and over. You don't have to give the credit to the scholars, but you can. But he admits that I am the first to bring up the way conversation, which means that for 30 years, this nigga has not seen and not known that the early Jerusalem church was known and called the way. Let's let him tell me that I'm the first again. I like that. I like that.
This shows the way was a recognized, established name for the movement.
So,
now he thinks I disagree with this. I think this guy is not paying attention. Why would I disagree with something I said? I said that the way was an early recognizable name for the Jesus people. He says I disagree with this? What is he listening to? This is what I teach.
he gonna find some way not to agree with that.
Clearly, he's not a smart man and he's not paying attention to my conversation and to my arguments. Clearly, he's not. Now watch him say that I am the first to bring the way conversation. which means for 30 years of him reading the Bible, he never knew that the early church was called the way. Watch him give me the credit for the conversation.
Even though he the one that first used the conversation.
Thank you. Which means that for 30 years, bitch nigga, you've been reading the KJV Bible and didn't know that the followers of Jesus after he goes to heaven were called the way. You thought they were Christians. Shame on you, my nigga. Shame on you. Are we done with that? Let's see where we at. Just about done.
The way and stuff. Trying to say they was never called Christians.
They weren't. You've already said it. You've already said it in your own videos that the early church were not called Christians. They were called the way. Are you going back on that? My God.
By who? What? See, these are...
By everybody, nigga. You mean by who? They call themselves the way. The Roman body politic in Jerusalem called them the way. Other forms of Jewish religion called them the way. That was their distinguished name for them representing this man they were calling the Messiah. Everybody called him the way. What do you mean, who called them the way? The high priest called them the way. We read that in Acts 9:2. Even Saul knew that they were called the way. Acts 9:2. The Jerusalem church themselves called themselves the way. Other Israelite Jewish denominations called them the way. Romans that were in the Holy Land knew that sect was called the way. What do you mean you asking who? Are you an owl? Who? All right, next one. 2140. Oh, this is such good stuff. Where we at? Let's go.
Question. Who called them the way? The Jews called them the way.
More than that, my nigga. You ain't even got a voice in this conversation, nigga. You ought to just shut up. Because for 30 years of your life studying the Bible, you are just now, in the last couple of days, hearing about the way. Don't make stupid statements that you're not able to substantiate. More than the Jews called them the way. The Romans called them the way, those Romans that were in Israel, in Jerusalem. Saul called them the way. Acts 9:2. The high priest, the Jewish high priest, called them the way. And other Jewish sects called them the way. That's how people understood who they were and what their sect and belief system was about. Shut up, nigga. You don't know what you're talking about. All this way conversation is new to you. You're a neophyte. You're a virgin, nigga. You don't know about this conversation. And all your information is backing up what I've been saying. None of it rejects or none of it goes against what I've been teaching. None of it so far.
Who called them Christians? The Gentile called them Christians.
And you're right. Because Christian is a gentilic phrase. Christian is a Gentile phrase. Christian is a Roman phrase. Christian is a pagan phrase. Christian is a heathen phrase. So you're right. See, you just co-signing everything I'm saying. And I love it so.
Yes, it was trying to make fun of them. Oh, y'all following the way. Y'all following Christ. Y'all followers of Christ. That's simply what Christian...
See all of this conversation here? That's all my conversation. I'm the one that showed you that the phrase Christian was a pagan phrase. I'm the one that showed you that it was the pagans, the heathens, and the Romans that created the phrase Christian. He's only parroting what I teach. None of this is against me. I agree. So far, I agree with everything he's saying. There's no disagreement. 22:35. 22:35.
You put that false narrative out there.
Summary: recall then, the way, the earliest Jewish followers of Jesus, recorded by Luke and Acts. Why the way? Because Jesus identified himself as the way, and the movement saw itself as a covenantal path of life rooted in Scripture. What does this prove? The first century Jesus movement was not a new religion, but one way of worshiping the gods of Israel through.
All that I agree with. I agree with all that. He's shooting himself in the foot. One more. 23:15. I agree with all this shit.
I'm sorry I didn't lay out the primary sources, but you'll be able to get them and use them.
The Way versus Christianity, a historical comparison introduction. The terms the Way and Christianity do not originate from the same historical moment.
Ooh! The way and Christianity do not originate from the same historical moment. I agree. The way precedes, the way comes before Christian and Christianity. My goodness. Thank you, Struggle Doctrine.
Nor do they describe the Jesus movement at the same stage of development. Understanding the distinction between them is essential for accurately reconstructing first century faith, identity, and practice. 1. The Way. The first century Jesus' movement origin and usage. The Way, Hodos, is the earliest known self-designation of Jesus' followers.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, is Professor Khalil Amani on one? This nigga is shooting himself in his foot, his ankle, his stomach. This nigga just took a headshot. Ain't that what I've been teaching? That the way is first. Oh, back that up. Oh, what damage he's doing to himself. I don't believe it.
In first century faith, identity, and practice. 1. The Way. The first century Jesus' movement origin and usage. The Way, Hodos, is the earliest known self-designation of Jesus' followers. Primary sources: Acts 9:2, 19:9, 23, 22:4, 24:14. This term was in use before Paul's conversion, indicating it arose within the earliest Jerusalems.
I've already taught all of that. All of that I've laid out. I agree. What is he doing? What is the purpose of this video besides pulling on my dick? This nigga's actually giving me a reach around. I done took a shit, and this nigga is wiping my ass for me. God damn, I don't even need a bidet. You know what a bidet is? If you've never been to a highfalutin hotel or a mansion or a really nice home, you don't know what a bidet is. A bidet is a little thing that looks like a water fountain right next to the toilet. After you take a bowel movement, after you take a shit, you go put your ass, you spread your cheeks, and you turn the water on, and a fountain of water shoots up, and it shoots up into your booty hole, and it cleans you out. Essentially, this is what Struggle Doctrine is doing. This nigga is, I don't need to wipe my own ass. This nigga is my own bidet. He's giving me a 21st century reach around. He's getting the toilet tissue, putting the toilet tissue on his hand. He said, bend over, Khalil, let me wipe your ass. He's wiping my ass. And then he says, come on, Khalil, come over here to the bidet. Let me turn it on for you. Put your booty hole over there and get it all nice and clean and fresh. Thank you, Struggle Doctrine. I don't think I will do that. That's what he's doing. All his information is my information. That's why I say I agree with 95% of this video. My goodness. This shit is beautiful. All right, let's go to there's some other shit I want to talk about. Let's make sure I got enough time. I gotta get this done. Ooh, I'm at the 1 minute, 1 hour mark. Now, this guy struggle doctrine. I said earlier, he actually introduces a couple of scholars. Let me find them scholars he introduces. He actually introduces a couple of scholars. I'm proud of this guy. I'm proud of him. I am proud. I should have had this queued up. I don't. He introduces a couple of scholars. We're going to talk about his scholarship now. We're going to talk about his scholarship. Wow. How come I forgot to cue that up? I'll find it. Don't worry. Y'all work with me. Y'all know how I do it. He talks about a couple of different scholars. Let me find them for you so we can address that. Okay, all right. So he introduces two scholars. One scholar is E.P. Sanders, and another scholar is N.T. Wright. Let me just show it to you real quick. This is what we've been listening to, right? This is from today. So you see Christianity in its earliest form was a movement within Judaism. That's fine. I don't disagree with that. But he quotes E.P. Sanders. He doesn't tell us who E.P. Sanders is. No, he doesn't. But I had to go check on it. So that's the first time. E.P. Sanders. Remember that name, E.P. Sanders. And then down the road, he brings up another one named N.T. Wright. Let me find N.T. Wright. There's E.P. Sanders. And that's still him. Let's find N.T. Wright. Down the way here, we'll find it. Just work with me here. I should have had this already up, but that's fine. It'd be that way sometime. I forget certain things. See, you got my name all up in this shit. So we found one. Let's find the other guy. Okay, there he goes. There's a second one. Paul did not found Christianity. He claimed Israel's Messiah to the nations. And then he quotes N.T. Wright. Got it? N.T. Wright and E.P. Sanders. Okay, let's talk about them. I said I'm proud of old Israel's struggle doctrine for finally using scholars to bolster his narrative. But let's talk about it. Now, the first little tricky thing he does is that he doesn't tell us who E.P. Sanders is, and he doesn't tell us who N.T. Wright is. He don't say nothing about their scholastic background. But I'll give old Israel Struggle Doctrine credit that they are legitimate, bona fide scholars. I guess he wants you to do the homework. He don't want to say, well, let me tell you, E.P. Wright, he got a PhD at this school, and E.P. Sanders got a PhD, and N.T. Wright got a PhD, and they went to these schools, and they wrote these books. That's what you should be doing when you introduce a source. But, we're going to give them credit for introducing sources. So I went and looked up these folks. Well, let me tell you about both of them. Number one, both of them are Christian apologists. Both of them are pro-Paul. I talked about this earlier on when I was talking about how you do scholarship, that you can question the motives of the scholar. Well, these two scholars, E.P. Sanders and N.T. Wright, they are Christian apologists. Put that out there. I'm not saying their work has no validity. It does. Their work has a lot of validity, but you have to understand who they are. E.P. Sanders and N.T. Wright are Christian apologists. That's the first thing he doesn't tell you. He conveniently leaves out the fact that these guys are Christian apologists and they are pro-Pauline scholars. Nothing wrong with that. But it's good to tell your audience, by the way, these people are pro-Pauline scholars. They looking for a way to make Paul jive with all the shit that he said. That's the first thing. You can look there. They both have Wikipedia pages. The second thing we find out that old Israel struggle doctrine conveniently leaves out. You know what he leaves out? You know what he leaves out? You know what he leaves out? This shit is wild, man. It's wild. I'll tell you what he leaves out. You know, I got to see. I see. My mind is always working. I'm saying, well, where did he get these two? Where did he get these two Christian scholars from? Where did he get these two scholars from? E.P. Sanders and N.T. Wright. Where did he get them from? Because he ain't got no books on his shelf. He ain't got no books in Parkin, Arkansas about these folks. So I got to looking at these guys. I got to reading. I read their bios. I read their Wikipedia pages. And guess what? E.P. Sanders is basically the forerunner and the teacher of N.T. Wright. That N.T. Wright, the second scholar that he mentions, was highly influenced by the first scholar. I said N.T. Wright. His work is based upon a lot of the shit that E.P. Sanders. In other words, they are joined at the academic hip together. Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. I do this stuff. I do this stuff. Oh, Skuggledine. He's so proud that he finally used two scholars. Let me show them to you. Let me show them to you. Let me show them to you. White men at that, there ain't no Afrocentrism, which I don't really care about that. He cares about that kind of stuff when he talks about my stuff. So there's E.P. Sanders. That's the first guy he mentions. A white man, bless his heart. Yeah, he's a New Testament scholar, a scholar of the New Testament, and he's a Paul scholar. Okay, see right there. See, there's his face. See what's it right down there? New perspective on Paul. We got you. And the second person, his name was N.T. Wright. There he goes, another white man. Again, no Afrocentrism, but I don't care about that. He cares about that kind of stuff when he tries to talk about my writings. That's right. But look what we find out when we go to his Wikipedia page. Damn, I was supposed to have that lined up. This is the second scholar, N.T. Wright. Do you think we'll find the first scholar's work in here? Watch. Well, I'll just show you this. Let me show you this. I went to AI Overview. Yes, E.P. Sanders was a major influence on N.T. Wright, particularly in the development of the new perspective on Paul. With Wright adopting Sanders' critique of traditional views of Judaism, but also diverging on some points, forming a core part of Wright's broader narrative approach to Paul that reshaped studies. So what I'm saying to you good people, he quotes two scholars that are basically teacher and pupil, influenced and influencer. E.P. Sanders comes along earlier, and N.T. Wright is influenced by the writings of E.P. Sanders. You know what? I don't think Struggle Doctrine knows that. I'm not shitting on these scholars. Bravo to those scholars. But I want you to know that both of these scholars are New Testament Paul scholars, that they are Christian apologists, and that they both come from the same train. That you have one scholar here who's the father, and another scholar who's the son. And this younger scholar, he piggybacks off the work of the older scholar. And so that's what you got. Now, let me show you something else. Remember, I'm so great. Remember some time ago, a few episodes back, I made the statement that John the Baptist was the teacher of Jesus, according to some scholars. I made the statement that Jesus, according to some scholars, was the student of John the Baptist. Well, let me refresh your memory. Let me refresh your memory. This has to do with Israel's struggle doctrines, scholarships, his scholars. Remember when I said this? At the age of 30, there was John the Baptist. And John the Baptist had a hellacious, huge following. Oh yeah. John the Baptist, John the Baptizer, he had a huge following, and many thought that he was that nigga too. That he was the man, the Savior, the deliverer, the Messiah. But John would let the people know that there's one coming after me, in whose sandals I am not worthy to lace up. Okay, now watch me when I say that some scholars believe that Jesus was the disciple of John. That's the point we want to get to. And the book tells us when John sees Jesus in the distance, he recognizes that is he. That is the promised Messiah over yonder. All right. Now here it comes. Some scholars believe that Jesus was actually a disciple of John. Some scholars believe that Jesus was actually a disciple of John. Say it one more again, Khalil. That is the promised Messiah over yonder. Some scholars believe that Jesus was actually a disciple of John. Just a side note. Okay. Well, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? What does that have to do with what we're talking about? Some scholars believe that Jesus was a disciple of John. What does that have to do with anything? The price of tea in China. All Israel struggle doctrines, scholars that he pulled out of his ass. The first one, E.P. Sanders. Guess what he says? I just want to show you how good I am. I just want to show you what a great Bible teacher I am. Because some of y'all heard me say that some scholars say that Jesus was the disciple of John, and you probably went, oh, hell no. Jesus was the Son of God. Well, guess who else says that Jesus was a disciple of John? Motherfucking E.P. Sanders. The guy that all struggle doctrine pulls out of his hiney to support his Pauline conversation. We just have to scroll down. We just have to scroll down. We just have to scroll down till I can find it. Scroll down. Here it is. Saunders, E.P. Saunders, the guy that Israel Doctrine quotes in his work today. E.P. Saunders' next major book was Jesus and Judaism, published in 1985. In this work by E.P. Sanders that old struggle doctrine wants to tell us, he's a scholar, he argued that Jesus began as a follower of John the Baptist. Goddamn, is Khalil Amani a motherfucking teacher or not? And so the very person that struggle doctrine would pull out of his ass. The very person, see, this is Israel Doctrine's page. The very person that Israel Doctrine would pull out of his ass, E.P. Sanders. is saying the same thing that I said 2 or 3 videos again. That Sanders' next major book was Jesus and Judaism, published in 1985. In this work, he argued that Jesus began as a follower, a disciple of John the Baptist. Goddamn. But I said it first. I said it. And you just saw me say it. I just told you that some scholars. So I agree with one of Israel Doctrine scholars, E.P. Sanders. I'm surgical with this shit. I said I'm surgical with this shit. The very scholar that Israel Struggle Doctrine uses, E.P. Sanders, to try to, go at me. Me and E.P. Sanders agree. I said to you on the video I just showed you that some scholars believe that John the Baptist was a disciple, that Jesus was a disciple of John the Baptist. And woe and lo and behold, the very person that Israel Doctrine pulls out of his ass, he agrees with me, who agrees with other scholars, that Jesus probably was a disciple of John the Baptist. My goodness. My goodness. Whew. Whew. This is crazy. I gotta go. It's getting close to time. But let me say this to Israel Doctrine. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know you came out here for 30 minutes. And for 30 minutes, you actually pulled my dick. You gave me a reach around. You gave me a hand job. Metaphorically and figuratively speaking. Figuratively speaking, you sucked my phallus for 30 minutes. Because 95% of the shit you say, I agree and I taught. I don't know what the purpose of that video was. Nothing you say rebuffs or goes against. Not even the scholars that you brought out. E.P. Sanders and N.T. Wright. Shout out to you for finally using scholars. But they don't even go against what I say. And then when we investigate your scholars, we realize that one of them is just a student of the other one. They aren't independent. E.P. Sanders goes first. And then later on, N.T. Wright comes along, and N.T. Wright borrows heavily upon the work of E.P. Sanders. They're both Christian apologists. They're both Paul scholars. They both want to make Paul look good. We got that. But you didn't say that. I'm saying it because I've gone to their Wikipedia pages. And then on top of all of that, I find your scholar E.P. Sanders agreeing with what I said about Jesus being a disciple of John, which I said 3, 4, 5 days ago. I just showed you the video. I'm surgical with this shit. Now, I know you're still mad at me and you butt hurts. But you have, I feel like it's Christmas in July, or I feel like this is an early Christmas present. First you say, I apologize to talking about your mother. I appreciate that. This is early Christmas. That was a Christmas present for me. Thank you. And today, I think it's the 16th, another early Christmas. Your whole 30-minute video was another Christmas present to me. Nothing about that video condemns what I teach. And I know you know, because you still have to do your little, your little name calling, your little, what they call that, ad hominems. Let me give you this real quick and then we're going to get out of here. Your little ad hominems. You have to go back to the whole Yahweh bin Yahweh thing. Oh, you got to go back there. Let me find that real quick. He's hurt, y'all. He still can't stay with the information. And so he says this. You still got to call me Yahweh bin Yahweh's son.
Deceiving those that will believe your lies and your deceit, Mr. Yahweh bin Yahweh's son. And
see, right after he says it, right after he says something that he knows is fucked up and foul and wrong, watch him admit that he's fucked up. Watch him admit that he's wrong for calling me Yahweh bin Yahweh's son.
See, that was foul on me to do that. I'm gonna tell the truth. But this is...
See? That's foul. Because believe it or not, fuck nigga, Yahweh ben Yahweh, he agrees with the works of Paul. Yahweh ben Yahweh never got in Paul's ass. So why you would relate Yahweh ben Yahweh, call me Yahweh ben Yahweh's son, when if you don't know Yahweh ben Yahweh's teachings, because Yahweh ben Yahweh never went against the Apostle Paul. Yahweh ben Yahweh quoted the Apostle Paul like you and every other Hebrew Israelite. So it's a logical fallacy, so stupid to call me Yahweh ben Yahweh's son, because I'm teaching something that Yahweh ben Yahweh could never teach and never thought of. I'm shitting on the Apostle Paul. Yahweh ben Yahweh didn't do it. But I hear you. I get it, my nigga. I get it. Did y'all enjoy this presentation? Everything, 95+% of what Struggle Doctrine said on this 30-minute video, it was just like taking a big old vomit and regurgitating the lessons and the writings and the words of Khalil Amani. That's all he did. Nothing about what he did goes against what I've taught you about the way. And the fact remains that until 2 or 3 days ago, Israel Struggle Doctrine, after almost 30 years of claiming to be a Hebrew or an Israelite and reading the Bible, he had no knowledge about the way until this week. Until a few days ago, he didn't know that Jesus' followers, his original followers, were called the way. He didn't know it. So I'm teaching him. Thank y'all for watching. We'll be back with another video. Peace.